The warm Caribbean sun shone brilliantly on the ramshackle port of Tortuga, a haven for scoundrels, scalawags, and those with a thirst for adventure or rum. Among them sailed Captain Cutlass Cora, a notorious pirate captain with a fiery spirit and a reputation as cunning as a kraken. The salty sea air whipped Cora's curly hair as she stood on the quarterdeck of her ship, the raging Seagull. Her eyepatch, covering a scar, a grim reminder of a past battle, couldn't hide the steely glint in her other eye. Years of piracy had hardened her, a shell protecting a vulnerable core. Yet, beneath the calloused exterior and the swagger of a fearsome captain, lurked a yearning for a different life, a flicker of something else. One day, a scruffy scholar named Miguel the Navigator, Santos, stumbled onto the raging Seagull, seeking passage to a remote island. He possessed a peculiar map, its edges singed and its symbols cryptic. Recognizing a potential treasure hunt, Cora offered Miguel a deal, his navigational skills in exchange for a share of the booty. A gruffly voice echoed from behind. "Treasure, eh? Sounds like a fool's errand to me, Captain. We're pirates, not glorified map sniffers. Silence, Jack. This map might be our ticket out of this life. A chance to right some wrongs." Shark-toothed Jack, Cora's gruff but loyal first mate, scoffed at the idea. But a glint of curiosity flickered in his single good eye. Miguel, his scholarly mind intrigued by the map's mysteries, readily agreed. Thus began a most unlikely partnership. A jaded pirate captain, a reluctant scholar, and a seasoned salty dog, all sailing towards an uncertain future. Cora lay on the deck looking up to the stars, alone with her thoughts. Piracy may have brought her freedom, but it was a lonely freedom. She craved something more, something she threw away a long time ago. Trust. Cora hadn't always been a pirate captain. Before the Jolly Roger fluttered on the mast of the raging Seagull, she sailed under a different flag, one that represented honor and loyalty. She was the first mate, her loyalty unwavering to her charismatic captain, a man she considered not just a leader, but a friend. Together, they were an unstoppable force, their names whispered with respect throughout the Caribbean. But trust, like a fragile glass, can be shattered in an instant. A carefully planned raid on a Spanish galleon turned into a bloody betrayal. Her captain, consumed by greed, abandoned ship with the lion's share of the loot, leaving Cora and her crew stranded in the face of a relentless Spanish warship. The battle was fierce, the taste of salt heavy in the air as blood mingled with seawater. Cora nearly lost her eye and her life in that betrayal, rescued only by a passing pirate vessel. The memory gnawed at her, a festering wound that fueled her descent into piracy. Trust, once cherished, became a bitter aftertaste, a vulnerability she couldn't afford. Yet, deep down, a flicker of that yearning remained, a faint ember buried beneath the layers of cynicism. The opportunity presented by the treasure map stirred something within her, a chance not just for riches, but for redemption. The demons she battled weren't just external threats like rival pirates or treacherous storms. They were the ghosts of her past, the sting of betrayal, the self-doubt that whispered she wasn't worthy of trust. Could she ever open herself up again, risk the vulnerability that came with trusting others? This was the true treasure she sought on this journey, a chance to confront the darkness within and reclaim the part of her that believed in the possibility of loyalty and camaraderie. The next day, Cora crossed paths with an unlikely person. "Captain Cora, back from another plundering spree, I presume? And what curious trinket have you brought back this time?" Governor Esmeralda asked slyly. Governor Esmeralda, despite her youthful appearance, was a seasoned player in the treacherous game of Tortugan politics. Unlike her predecessors who revelled in a life of rum-soaked debauchery, Esmeralda possessed a cunning mind and an insatiable ambition that belied her age. Tortuga, a haven for pirates, thrived on a delicate balance. The pirates, drawn by the island's anonymity and plentiful rum, brought in a steady stream of plundered goods. However, this very livelihood came at a cost. Esmeralda, unlike governors of the past who turned a blind eye to the pirates' activities, instituted a mandatory governor's tax. A hefty percentage of any pirate booty had to be surrendered to the island's coffers in exchange for safe harbor, repairs, and a somewhat peaceful coexistence. This system, while distasteful to some pirates like Shark-Tooth Jack, kept the island afloat and Esmeralda in power. Cora, however, had a more personal history with the governor. Back in her pre-piracy days, when she sailed under a different flag, she had clashed with Esmeralda on several occasions. Esmeralda, even then, displayed a ruthless pragmatism that both fascinated and disturbed Cora. The governor saw pirates not as romanticized swashbucklers, but as a necessary evil, a source of income that needed to be carefully controlled. Their paths hadn't crossed in years, but Cora couldn't shake the feeling that Esmeralda's interest in the treasure map went beyond mere riches. The uneasy alliance between pirates and the governor was about to be tested. As Cora and her crew ventured deeper into the Caribbean, whispers reached Tortuga of their progress. Esmeralda, with her network of informants, pieced together the clues, realizing the potential value of the hidden treasure. But unlike the pirates who sought personal gain, Esmeralda craved power. The knowledge and artifacts the treasure held could be used to manipulate trade routes, establish dominance over rival islands, and ultimately solidify her control over Tortuga. The prospect of such power outweighed any moral qualms she might have possessed. The journey to the treasure was fraught with peril. The cryptic map led them through treacherous reefs, dodging storms that churned the sea into a monstrous cauldron. Miguel's skills as a navigator were put to the ultimate test, his scholarly knowledge surprisingly well suited to the unpredictable Caribbean currents. Despite his initial trepidation, Miguel found himself strangely drawn to the pirate life. The camaraderie, the thrill of the unknown, the vastness of the open ocean, it was all intoxicating. But the reality was far more brutal than the romanticized tales he devoured in his youth. He witnessed violence, greed, and a constant battle for survival. The pirates, while accepting him for his navigational skills, remained a rough and suspicious bunch. Yet there was a flicker of adventure that kept him going. Every uncharted island, every storm weathered, added a layer of experience to his young life. He learned to navigate by the stars, to predict the fury of the sea, and to hold his own in a tavern brawl, though that wasn't something he particularly relished. Meeting Cora was another unexpected turn of events. He was drawn to her fierce spirit and the haunted glint in her eye. When she confided in him about her past, Miguel understood. He too had strayed from the path laid out for him, yearning for something more than a life of predictable comfort. In Cora, he saw a kindred spirit, someone who had been burned by betrayal, but still clung to a sliver of hope. Their shared vulnerability forged a bond, a glimmer of trust in a world where it was a rare commodity. Cora, haunted by the ghosts of her past, struggled with her conscience. The thrill of the hunt warred with the yearning for redemption that simmered within her. She sensed a kindred spirit from her navigator. Late one night, under the cloak of a star-studded sky, she confided in Miguel, sharing the story of the betrayal that led her to a life of piracy. Miguel, touched by her vulnerability, revealed his own past, a sheltered life yearning for adventure, which had landed him in the precarious position of a pirate's navigator. Miguel, a wisp of a man with more ink stains on his fingers than salt, fidgeted under Cora's intense gaze. Unlike the hardened pirates surrounding him, Miguel was a scholar, his natural habitat dusty libraries and flickering candlelight. His world had been one of leather-bound tomes filled with tales of faraway lands and mythical creatures. Adventure had beckoned from the pages, a siren song that his sheltered upbringing couldn't drown out. His family, prominent merchants in a bustling port city, envisioned a different life for him, one of ledgers and meticulous calculations, ensuring the smooth flow of their trade empire. Miguel, however, felt suffocated by their expectations. The call of the unknown was far too strong to resist. So, one fateful night, armed with a stolen map and a heart full of youthful naivety, he stowed away on a ship bound for Tortuga, the notorious pirate haven. Landing on Tortuga was a baptism by fire. The raucous taverns, the stench of rum and sweat, the swaggering pirates with missing teeth, eyes and limbs. It was a world far removed from the quiet comfort of his studies. He was quickly separated from his meager belongings, left stranded and bewildered. Just when despair threatened to engulf him, he stumbled upon a group of pirates preparing for a voyage. They needed a navigator, and Miguel, with his well-honed map-reading skills, fit the bill. Their shared stories forged a bond between them, a flicker of trust amidst the salty cynicism of pirate life. Shark-Tooth Jack, ever the pragmatist, remained suspicious of Miguel, but even he couldn't deny the young scholar's skill and unwavering loyalty to Cora. As they ventured deeper into the Caribbean, Miguel's role went beyond navigation. He became Cora's confidant, her sounding board. He deciphered ancient texts found in previous ruins, his scholarly past unexpectedly coming to the fore. He realized that adventure wasn't just about chasing thrills. It was about using his knowledge to uncover forgotten stories and chart a new course, not just on a map, but in life itself. Finally, after weeks of perilous navigation, they reached the uncharted island marked on the map. Lush vegetation cloaked the island's interior, hiding the secrets of the past. Following the cryptic clues, they navigated a labyrinth of ancient ruins, remnants of a long-forgotten civilization. The air crackled with anticipation, a sense of history hanging heavy in the air. Just as they were about to decipher the final clue, a figure emerged from the shadows, Governor Esmeralda, her eyes gleaming with avarice. She had tracked their every move, her fleet waiting just beyond the horizon. "Captain Cora," she purred, her voice dripping with false sweetness, "how kind of you to lead me to this treasure trove." Cora's hand instinctively tightened around her cutlass. She knew a fight was inevitable, a test not just of skill, but of their newfound unity. "This treasure ain't some bauble for your greedy fingers, Governor," Cora roared, her voice like a wave crashing against the rocks. "It holds the legacy of a legend, a pirate king who sailed these waters with honor. You wouldn't know honor if it bit you on your bejeweled backside." She spat the words, her one eye blazing with righteous fury. "This island may be your stomping ground, but this treasure belongs to the sea, to history, and not some landlubber who sees only the gleam of gold." Suddenly, 3 burly pirates appeared, pistols in hand. A tense standoff ensued. Miguel, quick-witted as ever, scanned the ruins, his eyes landing on a hidden lever. With a desperate gamble, he pulled it. The ground rumbled, and a secret passageway opened beneath their feet. Without hesitation, Cora grabbed Miguel and Shark-Tooth Jack, plunging them into the darkness. Esmeralda, enraged, screamed after them, but it was too late. The passage sealed shut, leaving her stranded on the surface with no way to follow. The hidden passage led them to a vast cavern, its walls adorned with ancient murals depicting a forgotten pirate king. In the center of the chamber stood a towering chest, overflowing not with gold and jewels, but with priceless artifacts, maps, navigational tools, and journals chronicling the voyages of the pirate king and his vast knowledge of the Caribbean Sea. Cora, overwhelmed, realized the true value of the treasure. It wasn't about personal gain, but about preserving the legacy of a legendary pirate and sharing his knowledge with the world. Here was her chance for redemption, a way to atone for her past and chart a new course, not as a pirate captain, but as a protector of history and a guardian of the seas. With renewed purpose, they emerged from the cavern, not with riches, but with a story even more valuable. Governor Esmeralda, her face pale with the knowledge that Cora now knew about her dark secret, scurried back to Tortuga. Cora alerted the Tortugan authorities. and presented them with the treasure. The governor had no other choice but to acknowledge the great find by Cora and publicly announcing her to be no longer a pirate. This after the governor Esmeralda was reminded of her nefarious activities and how interested the authorities would be in them. The artifacts were housed in a newly established museum, a testament to the pirate king's legacy. Cora, no longer Captain Cutlass, became Captain Cora, a respected explorer and curator, sailing the Caribbean not to plunder, but to share its rich history. Miguel, her loyal navigator, became her partner in exploration, their shared past a foundation for a brighter future. Even Shark-Toothed Jack, his gruff exterior softened by a newfound respect for history, remained by their side, a constant reminder of the unlikely crew that found redemption on the path to a legendary treasure. Subscribe and like for more Caribbean stories.